If you've been watching our content all week, the Hit Squad has been breaking down each individual teams of theirs and their predictions for the 2025 season. Now they're here, they're back to defend their positions, who they feel like they're going to win against and who they feel like they're going to lose against. And bonus, the AFC West plays the NFC East this week, or this year, I should say. So let's get into it. The Hit Squad is back. We are here. We are live and direct. Bring it to you live. Getting it done. Getting it done. Indeed. Sorry.
Three times the charm.
It is. Little air horn there. But yes, we are live and direct, man. Like I said, if you've been watching our content all week, you know that we've been breaking down each individual team, the Commanders, the Chargers, the Chiefs, and breaking down the schedule, what we like, what we didn't like about the schedule, how the things break as far as rest concerned, travel, all that good jazz, giving you that deep, dark analysis about our each individual teams. Then we give our predictions on who we felt like teams going to be at the end of the season. I think they're all positive, outlooks. I think we got no less than 10 wins amongst the panel. But we got to get to exactly what the negatives is when you talk about the positive as well. So we're going to break down exactly what each individual guy brought to the table as far as their predictions are concerned and what they feel like they're going to be the pitfalls in the schedule. So who are you going to lose to? And you're going to defend your position of why you're going to win and why you're going to lose against your individual matchups. So, and like I said in the intro and the bonus, each divisions play each other this year. The NFC East and the AFC West play each other. So we got some cross-pollination going on here. The Chiefs play the Commanders, and of course the Chargers go back and forth for 2 games. So it should be a good one. It should be a good one. But like I said, we will get right into it. Bring it to you live and direct. We got Young RG to my right. We got Mike Dub down by in the lower right. We got the real AG below me. And I'm Coach Defense. And as always, his squad is live and direct, man. So, gentlemen, how y'all feeling? First and foremost, let's talk about that. Let's get that out of the way, and we'll get to these predictions. Young RG, what's going on over there, good brother? How you feeling?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good. I'm definitely looking forward to this season. We're kind of approaching that time in the off season where it's kind of in the lull. The draft has come and gone. The schedule's been released, and now it's just kind of looking at these little storylines before training camp starts.
Absolutely. I like it. Coach Mike Dub, what's going on there, good brother? How you feeling?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Rob said it most. This is the time where we're kind of grasping for stories, grasping for something to get us until, training camp starts. So glad the schedule is out, ready to get into it and, see where we can land next year.
Awesome. Real AG, Alex Gibbons, how you doing, brother?
Yes,
what's going on?
Dude, doing great, Coach. Piggyback off everyone else. Just when we did this content, is like, man, the schedule is finally out. Like, we actually can look at 2025 and know what's gonna happen each week or what the matchups are. So it's just exciting to get into regular season mode now. Also exciting, go ahead and let you double down on our big announcement, but exciting times for the network too,
Yeah. Absolutely. So what Alex is alluding to is that we have now completed a merger with NFL Nation Live. The NFL Nation Live Raiders and NFL platform is joined.
Huge business acquisition.
Yes, definitely a huge acquisition. So we are now merged and now teaming up with the NFL Nation Live platform. They will be doing content on the Lockdown Diva Sports Network as well, giving you their perspective on the NFL takes and headlines, as well as deep, dark topics on the Raiders as well, because we have 3 Raiders fans coming into the fold. So we almost got a quorum here with the AFC West, I'm telling you. All we need is a Broncos fan, and then we got it going. So we got to get our NFC East guys on more regularly to help Mike Dub out. He's a lone wolf out there.
Yeah, I know. I was about to say, I might have to do some Broncos content to keep up. I don't know.
right. So,
dude.
In the coming weeks, you will see more of the NFL Nation Live crew, as they will be joining the network as well and doing content with us in their space as well. So good times. Definitely the network is going up into high heights and deeper depths. So we'll keep things rolling for you, man. So but let's jump right into this content. Let's talk about these predictions, man. Let's get into it. So like I said, we're going to talk about our predictions and reveal them exactly what everybody picked in their individual videos. And you got to defend your position. Defend your position on what you feel like your record's going to be and maybe who you're going to lose to and why. and we'll go around the room and we'll get that done, and you let us know exactly in the comments how you feel about each individual breakdown. So let's start off with Coach Mike Dub. We talk about these Commanders and in their particular perspective. They shocked the world. Obviously, nobody expected them to be as good as they were last year, and they're hoping to build on a new and brighter future when it comes down to Jaden Daniels and that group that they've gotten going on in the nation's capital. So, going over to Coach Mike Dub, let him break down exactly what's going on. So here is his predictions, and he'll give us a quick overview of that and tell us exactly why he feels that way.
Yes, sir. So I know the first thing probably everybody's thinking is, how do you go from a 12-win season and turn around? I think most people will probably say, looking at our offseason, we got better as a team. The biggest difference is just the strength of schedule is very different this year. There are a lot of teams that we're not going to see this year that we saw last year that worked in our benefit. Some teams we are going to see again. But as a whole, we have a pretty tough schedule. I think I saw something that said we had like the 6th toughest schedule in the league or somewhere around there. So it's not going to be easy. Not only that, I mentioned it before, but sophomore seasons are a little bit more difficult. Teams have some film on you. And then also there's some teams that have even built their defenses and approached the offseason to geared towards stopping you. So you look at how the Giants built up their pass rush. They were already solid, but other teams, in the NFC East and just across the league in general, there are certain things that they're not going to let happen. One of them is Jaden Daniels beating them with their leg. You even saw it towards the end of the season. Team started 0-win on that. So that being said, I think that we will. Now, mind you, 10-7 is my floor. I feel like I think we're 11-win, 10-win, somewhere around there. Still a playoff team, and I still think that we probably can sneak out some wins in the playoffs and ride this thing out. So 10-7, I feel like we're going to play a lot better than our record indicates, but that's just how we want to, when I first look at the schedule, that's the first thing that came to mind. So if we look at the schedule, right, the teams that I think we're going to struggle with most are teams that run the ball and teams that control the clock, teams that are physical, all those types of things like that. So first loss, I like our chances against the first two teams, Packers, Giants, of course. Packers, if we played them towards the end of the year, I think that's when they start to pick up their run game. Jacobs got going a little bit. Beginning of the year, when all those receivers are healthy, you start to see them trying to spread it out a little bit more. That plays into us. In my opinion, I feel like our strength of our defense is our secondary. The thing that I'm worried about, like I said, is our run game. So I look at a team like Atlanta, Bijan, a dog, that offensive line, pretty solid. That might be a game that, could be kind of tough. And win the overtime last year, on the road in the dome. Phoenix is going to come out strong. So that might be a tough one. Now, I know we play you guys as the Chargers, right? I'm going to be honest. I don't love that matchup for us because of what you guys have done with that offensive line. Like Becton and Joe Alt and, just all that. Of course, Harbaugh, he's going to harp in on playing defense and running the ball. I think that's a bad matchup for us. Once again, that's another road win, back-to-back road games. That might be a little tough lull in the season. Of course, I feel like we're going to see this Monday or this Bears matchup quite often in Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams' careers. They're going to pit them against each other a lot. You see it on Monday night. I think we're going to come out with the win against that again. We remember last year, that whole debacle, how that went. So, the Bears are going to come in strong, but I like us as a team over them. The next loss, I think, is Kansas City. Kansas City, I mean, they're still Kansas City. I think that their offense, the receivers they're bringing, they're going to be just as good, if not, better than they always are. So I think that'll be a tough loss. Next one I see is actually Detroit. And the reason for that, once again, Detroit, they run the ball well. Even though they lost their offensive coordinator, it's a home game for us. But Detroit definitely is going to have some a chip on their shoulder based on the season ended last year. They were battling some injuries towards that time that we played them, so I think if they come in healthy, they'll definitely be a good matchup for them. And then the last few that I have, the Broncos. I love what they did in the offseason. Depending on what their offense is going to look like, how Bo Nix matriculates. That might be one that could go either way, but I could see that one being a tough one for us. A home game, so that's a good thing. We don't have to worry about the altitude and all that in Denver, so that works in our benefit. But the last two games, one of them is a surprise. I'm going to say the Giants, just because, once again, divisional games, there's always one or two divisional games that's a wild card that you might drop. towards the end of the season. We looked at their defense. I know what their defense looks like. I think by the end of the season, we probably will see Jackson Dart. So he may be able to get something going. If you got a guy like, Malik Neighbors in that defense, you're going to stand a chance. That might, slip us up a little bit. And then finally, Philly. Philly, in my opinion, is the best team in the league. I think we split between them. Which one we'll see. We got them at home first and then got them on the road later on. But I think we're probably looking at dropping one of those. And it's hard to look at your schedule and say that you're going to lose certain games. But once again, just being objective, I think, the teams that run the ball well, teams that have a good offensive line, it's going to be pretty difficult matchups for us. So just to recap, Falcons, Chargers, Chiefs, Lions, Broncos, Giants, and Eagles. Those are the teams that I got my eye on.
Wow. Yeah, that's a great breakdown. I didn't realize they got you guys scheduled for Philly 2 out of the 3 weeks in the season.
Yeah.
Give y'all any breaks with that. They could have gave it to y'all earlier in the season.
It's savage how they do that.
I would have loved to. I will say I feel like Philly may lock up some things towards the end.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
What I mean? So we might be able to sneak out one at the last game of the season. Like I said, in my opinion, I think they're probably the best team in the league. So if everything plays out, they'll probably be resting some guys towards that end.
Okay. Well, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. 10-7, still making the playoffs, but people are going to prepare for the Jaden Daniels show now, so they might hit a few struggles in the road, but they still will be competitive in the NFC East.
Yeah.
All right.
Just to confirm, Mike Dub, Commanders have the 8th hardest schedule. So
Yeah. So
you were right.
it's
not harder
easy
than the Chiefs schedule.
Damn.
Ironically.
Luckily, a lot of these games we got at home. Like we don't have to go to Detroit.
Listen to how savage though. The Giants have the toughest one. Like, damn, they just hate New York, I guess.
There's something about that.
Giants and Bears apparently have the 2 toughest.
Wow.
We gotta stop giving these. We gotta keep these guys at the top.
Poor Giants, man.
Poor Giants.
Can't catch a break, man. Can't catch a break.
I don't feel sorry for them at all.
You get hosed every year.
I bet you don't feel sorry for them.
And they drafted a quarterback this year, so they won't be getting one next year. So
there you go. Especially with a first round pick, you ain't drafting the back to back.
Nah,
unless you're crazy. But unless they bring a whole different regime. But because I think that they don't win this year, Dayball and Shane are out of there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, indeed. Okay.
But I do have a sweep in Dallas, by the way.
Oh yeah. Little nugget to drop before little mic drop. Pun intended. Little mic drop. Before we move on.
Just say it, he says.
Just saying.
We don't do nothing else. We sweep in Dallas. That's what he said.
That's it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I like it. I'm sure Cowboy fans will love it as well. Indeed. Okay, so we got 10-7 for the Commanders. Good stuff. All right, so moving on to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes,
Who beats the Chiefs this year? Let's talk about it.
No one.
Oh, here we go. Okay. So Alex had a nice cushy 12-5 prediction for his video. So please, good sir, take the floor and tell us exactly how you feel about your 12-5 predictions and where you might trip up.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So, as I just kind of prefaced, Chiefs have a easier schedule than 8. They're actually tied with the Chargers to have the 11th hardest schedule in the NFL. So a little bit easier walk for them than in a couple years past. But, looking at the reason I picked 12-5, and I mean, you'll see the losses I'll point out, like they're respectable losses. Some of you may even really enjoy them on this very video. But, since Mahomes has been the starting QB, I mean, they've won 11 games one time. Other than that, they've always won 12 or more. So, you look at his, 8-year career at this point. Damn near, 8-year career. I mean, he's only won 11 games once. Always been higher than that. And the time they won 11 games, they won the Super Bowl. So,
how about that?
I think as a good, healthy median, just looking at what Mahomes and Andy Reid and the Chiefs have been able to do. And honestly, I got to say, I knew the Chiefs were pretty ass before Mahomes got here, but it was just depressing to go look at Pro Football Reference and see their records in the back of in the earlier 2010s and 2000s. I was like, damn, what was I rooting for? But
probably a river.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's true. What am I doing here? But yeah, so Chiefs have a pretty pretty spread out schedule. I mean, still pretty difficult. A lot of key matchups. They actually have 7 primetime games, which I noted in my videos. The most, it tied the Bills, I think, in 2023 for the most the teams had. So, as I put in my little video, I get why people are annoyed at the Chiefs because they keep having to watch them, at every primetime slot, just like the Patriots used to be. So, NFL likes money. They're going to put the team that brings in the most, I guess, as much as they can on these big time game slots. But yeah, so overall I got 12-5. Certainly have some. I'd say their road schedule is pretty cushy when you look at who they have to play on the road. It's definitely easier than their home slate. Definitely have some pretty early tests early on in the season at home, and AFC West matchup right out of the gate in Brazil. And then I think the latter half of the season, you look at weeks 15 through 18. I mean, they're basically finishing out with all AFC West opponents, so that's definitely a very key stretch. Hopefully, by the time they're playing the Raiders, it's a JV squad and we can sweep them anyways. But that's for later on. But yeah, looking at kind of the losses, again, 12-5. I do think that Kansas City comes out week 1 and gets things done in a good game. But I think, it'll just be the Chargers still trying to kind of mature and grow their culture. Like they'll get them in week 1, put a pin in that for later. I think that we beat Philadelphia in week 2. I think that's obviously the game that's circled on Kansas City's calendar. Like the minute that Super Bowl ended, they're like, when do we play these Fs again? Let's get ready, and we're going to find out by week 2, like how much retooling actually helped this team progress further. I mean, we know big emphasis was on the offensive line. We saw them address that early and often in the offseason, and we're going to find out pretty early on if that stands the test of, the 41% pressure rate Mahomes faced in the Super Bowl. But yeah, so, and, I think people are kind of sleeping on the fact that Sirianni, I mean, borderline almost lost his job when he had Brian Johnson as OC. They call in Kellen Moore, fixes things, and he's gone. So, let's see what regresses back to that. People I think are kind of overlooking that a little bit. But yeah, and then I do think we beat the Giants. I think the first loss of the season comes in week 4 against Baltimore at home. I mean, we saw how that game was early in the season as well last year, but it was, I called it the toe game because it was, I mean, if Isaiah Likely's toe is just a little bit shorter,
if he was a size 10 instead of a size 11 and a half.
I mean, it was that close of a game back then, and I expect it to be just like that. And I think one that the Ravens get, especially because they always seem to be kind of full cylinders when the season starts and sort of taper off at the end. So I think that's the first loss of the season. I think we see the Chiefs beat, obviously, Jacksonville and Detroit and the Raiders, of course. And then I got the next loss, Mike Dub, week 8 against the Commanders. I think that's going to be a really good game. I think it's just going to it's going to be close. I mean, I don't think it'll be a blowout, but I just see the Commanders winning that one. I don't know why. It's just kind of I wrote out the schedule and, put my guaranteed wins in, and then I'm like, well, which games can I see them losing? That's just one I could see them losing. Right. And then I unfortunately do have them losing right after that in week 9 against Buffalo at Buffalo. That kind of happens every regular season. That's the Bills Super Bowl right there. So week 9, Bills Nation will be going berserk thinking they locked everything up and then forget they got to play probably the Chiefs again, knock on wood, in the playoffs. But so I do have a little 2-game skid going into the bye. We all know what Andy Reid does out of byes. It comes out hot, and I have them going on a nice little ripper, winning 4 straight through the Texans. I think the next loss, again, Coach Rob told you to put a pin. I think the next loss comes against the Chargers in week 15 at home. So that'd be a little unfortunate one for me. But I mean, I think that we split. Realistically, I think we split with Denver and the Chargers this year. Denver damn near. I mean, we did split with them last year, but played the JV in the game they won, and honestly almost lost too if it wasn't for a blocked field goal. And as me and Robert were talking about backstage, Chargers games are always close and always come down to, a last possession or just some last minute heroics. And I think this is the year that we see the Chargers, turn that page and take that step forward. And, I see us splitting, obviously beating Tennessee, and then again, I have our fifth loss of the season coming against Denver in week 17. And then, finishing things out, whoever the F's playing in week 18 against the Raiders.
Okay. So you and Mike Dub both have your hated rivals getting the brooms off of your hated rivals. So they're sweeping the Raiders, so it is what it is.
Have to. But, Kansas City is going to be on their run for 10 straight. That's right, 10 straight AFC West titles. So.
Yeah.
10, count them. Shut up.
That's a decade, bro.
Yeah, we know.
Oh my God. Is this segment over already?
All right, now we're done. Unless you got any questions.
He wanted to know why people call him Slug.
That was light. That was a light one.
Wow. Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay.
That was the diet.
Well, the one takeaway I do have is that Mike Dub has the Chiefs beating you guys, but you beat the Commanders, and you had the Commanders beating you guys. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I have different opinion on that. So y'all both think y'all going to lose that game. So that's interesting. We'll see when week 8 gets here who's right or who's wrong, right? Okay.
I had to fit a loss in somewhere with this hot take on beating the Eagles week 2. So I had to pencil.
That's a good point.
I had to come back somewhere, recoup that.
Understood. I would argue that having a drop off in week 3 to the Giants would be because that's like a trap game. Because if you play a good Chargers team, a good Eagles team, coming off that emotional high for division and Super Bowl loss, that you had from the Eagles. The Giants come in after if you did go 2-0 like you're predicting, Giants come in, think y'all could play out like y'all a little bit sleepy. Y'all got to play them on the East Coast time too, so should be a good one. Let's see how the Giants do. But
that's a prime time game. It looks like was that a Monday or
7:20? Yeah, Sunday night football.
Sunday night football. Okay. So not too bad getting on the time difference, but definitely a trap game, and if nonetheless. Okay, good stuff. All right, so let's move on to the Chargers. So Robert gave a great breakdown as well in regards to who he think the Chargers will do in 2025. So he had 11-6, which is mirroring from what they did last year. Having 11 wins and 6 losses with a tougher schedule. To Alex's point, I think they were the top 11th in strength of schedule. Mm-hmm. So young RG, please take the floor away and tell us how you feel about your predictions and who you think the Chargers will trip up on in 2025.
Yeah, so taking a look at the schedule here, obviously everybody knows week 1 opening it up in Brazil against the Chiefs. I think I'm actually going contrary to what Alex is saying. I think we steal game 1 in Brazil because I really don't like us in Arrowhead later that year. So I think this is where we steal our split versus the Chiefs. Mentioned already, like also Alex is mentioning, talking a little bit backstage, the Chargers optioned not to use one of their 2 AFC home game protections on this. So, take that for what you will. Think they, whether that says they are confident they could beat them anywhere, or they really just don't like the Chiefs fans invading SoFi. Whatever way you want to look at it, they didn't opt to protect it, so we're going to Brazil. I think they steal one there. Immediately come back and face the Raiders. Found out this game wasn't in SoFi because Chris Brown had booked ahead of time.
I heard that.
So that is just.
Didn't he just get arrested?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Overseas though.
TBD.
So
he may be overseas for a while.
The game at this point, they're just going to be empty arena at this point if he's not playing.
Yeah, exactly. So two quote unquote road games to open up the year. Even though that first game isn't technically a home game, it is on the schedule wise. But I do think Raiders fans will be kind of happy to hear this. I do think the Raiders steal one from us at home on Monday Night Football. What? I just think, just hear me out. I think that this division is going to be an absolute bloodbath.
I agree there.
I think that, and this is obviously not going to happen, but this is the super early predictions. I think that this division has the potential for everybody to split, and this entire division will just go break even at 500. Everybody will go 3-3, and division records will not mean anything. I think so. This is where I feel like the Raiders steal their win against us. It's going to be a long flight back. Chargers are obviously going to be not only emotionally tired from a victory against the Chiefs, but just mentally and physically exhausted with the flight and everything. And it is a Monday night game, so they do get a little bit of extra rest, but I do think they're going to drop that one. Follow it up immediately with another win, another division win against the Broncos. This is an insane start to the schedule, starting off with all three division opponents. So talk about, you're going to find out who's who in the division real quick. Yeah, you're going to find out in the first month who's who. I think this is the first time since like 1978 or something I saw where we face one of each of the division opponents to start the year. Then you get a little bit of a reprieve. You go to New York to play Giants. Should be a relatively easy win there. I think in our last like 3 matchups or something, we were 3-0 against them. So we own them. Not too worried about that. The Commanders game, I thought for a while this one was going to be an L. Just because the Chargers last season struggled significantly against mobile QBs. Mobile QBs murdered us. Lamar, CJ Stroud turned into a goddamn mobile QB. I mean, Mahomes, of course. Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. Kyler. Oh God, don't even remind me about that game.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and Justin Fields Fields. So like, we definitely struggle against mobile QB. So that's what gives me worries about this game. I wanted to say this was going to be a dub because at this point we'd be 3-1, so we'd be riding really high. And so I am going to say we do take this one. I think we start off the season really hot at 4-1. Like Mike mentioned, I love the additions of Omarion Hampton and of course Najee, the run game. I think that is just a recipe for success. As he mentioned, the strength of the Commanders is their secondary, and I think the Chargers will try to avoid targeting that as much as possible. This game is going to really come down to who can get a lead first, because if the Chargers are forced to be playing catch-up, it does not bode well for them at all. This is where we get into our beautiful, amazing part of the schedule. So we got at Dolphins. I think that's a dub. I think we should own the Dolphins. The only dub they got against us was when Staley was head coach, so I'm not worried about Tua. Colts should be an easy dub. Really don't got anything going for them. Don't want to waste too much time on them. I got the Vikings.
I will interject and say rest in peace to Jim Irsay. He did pass away.
Yes. Good point. Yeah. Rest in peace, Jim Irsay. That's and for the Colts organization, we feel for you today. That being said, I think we go turn it right around. We'll rack off 4 or 5 straight here. What am I talking about? This is 6 straight, right? Yeah. So yeah, 6 straight.
Dolphins, yeah, that's 5. So it depends on what you have, the Titans and the Steelers.
Yeah, I got Titans winning. I got Steelers loss. I think the Steelers, we always play them insanely close. If you look back, I know.
Who's going to quarterback for them?
Will Howard. We lose a little hard. Yeah, we just need to pack it
up. Honestly, we say this every year. I saw this report about like the Steelers, like, oh, the Steelers have a chance to start 0-6. Like, yeah, we say this every year, and then Mike Tomlin wills that team to just above 500 or just under 500. They win a bunch of games that they probably shouldn't. They probably shouldn't have beat us last year, but they did with Justin Fields at QB. So like, I don't doubt Mike Tomlin. All right, if there's one guy. I feel like this is we're riding too hot at this point, and we're gonna need a little bit of a come down because
humbling moment.
Yeah, a little bit of a humbling moment because this back half of the schedule is absolutely brutal. So take the L against the Steelers, take the dub against the Jags. Obviously, go into the bye, come out of the bye, have that dub against the Raiders. Obviously split with them. take an L versus the Eagles, L at Chiefs. So going back-to-back losses here. I do think we take a dub versus the Cowboys, but I do think we lose the last two. Or if I had us losing to the Broncos in that first week, I have us winning. Yeah, we lose to Broncos week 3 because we always lose to them at home, and then we take the dub against them in week 18 to finish us out at 11-6. So a bit of a hot start into a nice medium, and then it kind of goes a little bit downhill after the bye week, just because obviously Eagles Chiefs matchups, two of the top teams in the NFL, and unfortunately I don't think we get our revenge against the Texans and obviously the Broncos there. So gonna kind of go out on a sour note, but obviously these division games you can kind of flip, so it's either going to be a rough start and a great finish, or a great start and a rough finish. I just think we are going to be coming out kind of like in a blaze of glory, and then there might be a little bit of come down there at the end.
Okay. So recap real quick who you have us losing to out of the 6. You got
so out of the 6, so 3 of the division opponents.
Got that. Okay.
And then I got Eagles, Texans, and Steelers.
Got it. Okay. Good stuff. All right.
I just want to point out that 4 out of the first 6 weeks are in Brazil, Vegas, New York, and Miami.
Yup.
If they have any energy left, shout out to them.
Well, it doesn't matter what you use your energy for, because I know what you're alluding to.
I'm just saying, like, those are some amazing cities to start out with, but
it is. And not for football.
Yeah.
Or something other than
stay away from my Justin Herbert. You better not touch him.
You don't have to worry about him.
No. I'm not worried about him.
It's the Young Bucks. You got
I was just about to
you know
what
what that, Mark Hampton being down in Brazil getting his first paycheck, first game check, like, shit, what do I do with this?
Right. Run it up.
Man.
Okay.
Good be the Browns. I'm glad it's not the Browns schedule.
Oh, yeah, good point. Dang. All right. Ooh, good stuff. So just to go around the room real quick. So the Mike, Dub, and Alex both have them losing to each other, which I think is funny. I think Robert and Alex both believe there's going to be a split. I believe if I have that correctly, right?
But we have different games and who's going to win what.
Correct. Alex thinks y'all going to win. They're going to win the first one, lose the second one. You got to win the first one, lose the second one. Gotcha. Okay. And the Chargers and the Commanders, y'all both have the Chargers winning that game. That what I have?
Yeah.
Okay. Good stuff. All right. Well, there you have it. So yeah. So please
rattle yours off real quick. Come on, Coach. What do you got? Just real quick. Name your losses.
Oh, I don't even put me on the spot here. I forget because I actually shot this last week on the Electric Shock podcast. So shameless plug there. I did do my my breakdown on that particular space, but actually I think that I have us losing to the Broncos in week 3 for some reason. I don't know. But I think we do beat the Chiefs and do beat the Raiders. I think the Broncos for some reason is a trip up. I don't know why. We
always lose to them at home.
I don't like it, but it may happen. Just depending on what Bo Nix in his sophomore season will actually do. And that Vikings game kind of gives me outside of that, I think the Vikings game gives me pause because I'm not sure exactly what JJ McCarthy is or isn't going to be, because we all know that Kevin O'Connell is the quarterback whisperer. So if he can get out of JJ McCarthy, what he got out of Sam Darnold, they could be a problem.
I think Harbaugh is gonna show his knowledge on JJ. That defense might feast on him.
Yeah, it's possible. It's definitely possible. It all depends on how pass rush look like as well. Because we get after the quarterback, then
I didn't even put that together there. That his old college QB's coming into town.
Sure.
Huh? Thursday night too.
Thursday night. Yeah. You knew they had to make that a primetime game.
Absolutely. So so I think that for some reason the Broncos and the Vikings are intriguing. I'm not sure we lose a game or not, but kind of on the fence about that. Outside of that, I just don't know what they're doing to quarterback of the Steelers. So I can't say we lose to them. I can't give you that just yet. But that's wait and see for me. But the Eagles game is going to be a tough one. It's the second Chief game, cold and Arrowhead, going to be a tough one. So I'm looking at 12-5. 12-5 because I actually want us to beat the Texans. I'm not going to lie to you.
I want us to as well.
And I think if we got a good pass rush going and that O-line is in flux, I think we can beat them. So I know defense is tough as hell. Like the defense is tough as nails. I love their defense, but the offense is the question. They got a lot of receivers and weapons out there, but can they protect CJ Stroud? That is the question. That is the question. So I think I'm gonna go one up on you and do 12-5.
I ain't gonna complain about that.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. But we'll see how things shake out. But man, yeah. So that is our breakdown for who we feel like we're going to lose to in our respective teams. Let us know in the comments how you feel about this particular breakdown. Are we completely on point? Are we off base? Let us know. Hit that subscribe button as always to let the YouTube algorithm know that we're out here booming and we're doing big things in the YouTube streets. And as always, man, we'll be back at 3:00 tomorrow with another breakdown of NFL news and views from the Lockdown Defense Sports Network. But that is the real AG Alex Givens. That is Coach Mike Dub. That is Young RG. And I'm Coach Defense. Until we see you next time, step up and lock it down.